but I think there's also parts of our hearts that are mysteries unto ourselves, and we're not really sure. We're not really sure who we are. And so we go through life and we're seeking this, we're on this journey, because ultimately, we talk about the power of love and we talk about being healed and set free. A journey of mercy is really a journey of love. And if you've seen the movie, if you've read the book, Lord of the Rings, you know that this is a part where Frodo's been given the ring, and he's been put on this commission, this impossible task, this small hobbit to destroy this ring of power in Mount Doom, yes? And so he and his trustworthy friend Sam go on this journey, and there's this part where they're ready to leave the Shire, and Sam just stops. And Frodo turns around and looks at him, and Sam says, "This is it." And Frodo says, "What is it?" And he said, "This is it. If I take one more step, it will be the farthest away from home that I've ever been." And Frodo says, "Come on, Sam." He says, "You know what Bilbo would say. It's a dangerous business, Frodo, going out your door. You step onto the road, and if you don't keep your feet, there's no knowing where you might be swept off to, yes? It's a dangerous business going out your door. It's a dangerous business going out of your heart, because you never quite know where you might be swept off to." And I love this journey, and especially in the year of mercy, Pope Francis, and he's really echoing Pope Benedict and Pope John Paul II, St. John Paul II, in this writings of this, this journey of mercy. And we see this journey of the prodigal son. You see the journey of the Good Samaritan. And all these people they're being met, they're being countered by mercy, and they're being reconciled. And we do, all of us indeed have this journey. And you hear this journey of the saints, people like St. Augustine and St. Francis, and all these epic people that we know in our lives, that we look up to, that we admire, that have been on this journey that took a great risk. The journey of going out your door. Because I think sometimes this is the greatest risk we will ever take, is to open up our hearts. To open up our hearts to a risk of love. Because perhaps in our hearts we say, "Man, what if it doesn't work out?" Is God really who he says he is? Is he somebody who sees all of me and still loves me? Is he somebody who thirsts for me? Really? And I love, we just celebrated the Easter, I'm sure you went to the Easter Vigil, and we went to the Easter Vigil Mass at the cathedral, and they had a beautiful cantor there, and this is one of my favorite parts of the whole year, right here. The Easter Vigil Exultet, where the cantor sings this: "O wonder of your humble care for us, O love, O charity beyond all telling, to ransom a slave you gave away your son, O truly necessary sin of Adam, destroyed completely by the death of Christ, O happy fault that earns so great, so glorious a Redeemer." That this is the biggest journey that anybody will ever take, is God becoming man, that he takes on flesh, as you know so well. You know this story of him taking on flesh and laying down his life for us so that we can live. The bridegroom gives him of himself so his bride can live. This journey. And what this does for us, this brings us into this relationship of mercy, this journey of mercy for us, this journey of love, because God gives himself for us because he loves us. And I just find the language fascinating. When you talk about, "Oh, necessary sin of Adam, oh, happy fault." Who of us looks into our hearts and says, "Oh, happy fault"? We're like, "Oh, nothing here. I don't want to look at that," Oh, happy fault that would gain for us so glorious a Redeemer. So often I'm really convinced of this. We think it's our faults. We think it's our failings. We think it's I know in my own life, my own struggle with addiction, my own struggle with perfectionism, my own struggle with just aching for more. Where I just thought, if I could get myself together enough, that kind of part of our hearts where we want to be so holy we don't need a savior anymore. If you could just manage yourself well and get yourself together well enough, then maybe you might be worth it. But yeah, God comes, and he just comes and he gives of himself. This crying out for mercy. Pope Benedict just released a new interview, and I don't know if I was totally fangirling over this. This is weird, I know, but maybe you were too. But I love this part of this interview. It's not very long, but it's this really beautiful interview, and Pope Benedict says, "Only where there is mercy does cruelty end. Only with mercy do evil and violence end. It is mercy that moves us toward God, while justice frightens us before him." And this was what actually just pierced my heart. "Under a veneer of self-assuredness and self-righteousness, the man of today hides a deep knowledge of his wounds and his unworthiness before God. He is waiting for mercy." And I love that he's not saying it's only those really holy people or those really people that are really epically bad. It's just, man of today, this is the condition of our heart, that we're utterly waiting for mercy, and not kind of like waiting for mercy. Like, are you going to show some mercy, Lord? It's about time, But aching to encounter that kind of love.